Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. The last pre-season friendly for Inter this season. Inter won, Chelsea won, or Chelsea won, Inter won. I need to start getting used to, the usual routine of getting the away team, home team wrong, correct, because things are gonna get serious soon, but things were very, very unserious on this lovely sunny. I mean, you can see the sunlight coming through my room because this summer in Britain, in the UK, has been one of the most consistent, one of the most nice summers actually we've had in terms of weather. And then on this lovely summer's afternoon, an unserious partnership has arisen. The Tikus plus Tucu, Tikus Correa. I don't know what you want to call it. Some people say it should be called the two shit partnership, or the I don't know, Tuco, whatever name you want to give it. But on this lovely afternoon in Stamford Bridge, we saw a partnership that, first of all, we don't want to see, we didn't expect to see, and hopefully we don't see on the first game of the season against Genoa. But this partnership actually ended up combining for a goal, but we'll get into it. Hopefully, I'll show you a quick clip. If you haven't seen the goal, I'll try to put up the clip because surely it's pre-season. I can't get copyright strike for a big pre-season game. But even then, I'll be super careful and I'll show it super quickly. But let me give a shout out to you guys that are here. 25 people. Thank you very much, guys. Things are gonna get serious soon, so you guys know that I'll always try. It's never gonna be every single game, but you guys know the drill in the season. Pre-game, a preview. That's always my aim, to do a preview, whether that's live or recorded. Usually those are recorded, the previews. And then match reaction after the game, whether that's straight after the game or maybe an hour after the game. Sometimes if I'm not able to, the day after or even 2 days after. But there always will be post game in the season in some way or fashion. So if you're new to the channel, or if you forgot about what I do on this channel, that's the drill when it comes to Inter content. And before the season, of course, a season preview for the whole Serie A as well. I will do my prediction video for the whole Serie A and stuff like that, relegation and top four and all that good stuff. Players to watch out for, young players to watch out for, so not just Inter. I'll do that type of content before the season kicks off, so you guys know to subscribe. Anyway, let me get to the comments. Chopping more, yeah. So he saw my previous thumbnail. We were 1-0 up, and that's when I originally made the thumbnail, and I had to change it when those disgusting upstarters, Jun Liu, caused them equalized. I mean, you saw the difference between Inter and Chelsea. Like, after the subs started being made, the difference between Inter subs and Chelsea subs, night and day. Inter were bringing on unknown Primavera guys that, a lot of these guys, I follow the Primavera, but even I'm not really familiar with some of these guys. Whereas Chelsea are bringing on, well, actually, I'm not even familiar with some of the Chelsea guys, but the Chelsea guys that Chelsea are bringing on, they're costing 20, 25, 30 million. And we're talking about the subs. And I'm not saying they're good players, but it's a different game. It's a different ball game to bringing on, a 17, 18-year-old who's, barely even, you could say, standing out in the Primavera to some of these guys Chelsea are bringing on. So you would say you should judge this Inter performance today, the first 50, 60 minutes. After that, once Inzaghi had to start making changes, it's very harsh to judge Inter, and that's when Chelsea took control of the game. So before that, I would say Inter actually played a good game. Ian Kerr in the house, brother. Hope you are doing well. I saw you were in Milan, I think, last week or this past weekend. So hope you enjoyed yourself out there. Looked like good weather as usual in Milano this summer. Shout out to Boo. Yes, shout out to Margin Boo. And also my intro, Dragon Ball Inspired intro, if you just missed it before the live stream. Lucas, what's up? Mein Bruder. So hyped for the new season. Yeah, we're getting to that stage now. I'm also starting to get excited finally. It's been, last year was a long one. Last season was a long one. And then, we had the Euros. It just, it was a lot of football, and I was glad to take a break. Like last month after the Euros ended, I was glad to just take a break. I haven't even watched. I thought I was going to watch like at least the final of the Olympics football, but I didn't even tune to 1 second of the Olympics football. So the highlights or like some of the goals posted on Twitter, but apart from that, nothing. So it's been a nice, clean refresh, recharge the brain for a new footballing season. But of course, this team, we still got some work to do in terms of, some transfers that need to be made. Indro, didn't watch the game. How are we doing? Looking good? Yeah, looking decent, to be honest, Indro. Today, as I said, if you judge Inter for the first 50 to 60 minutes, which I think is the right way to judge this Inter team, it was a pretty good performance. Solid defensively. We gave lots of shots, as you can see here. But again, a lot of, I would imagine, the majority of these were after the second half, and not too many chances created. As you can see, only 6 shots, 3 on target. But and obviously, we don't get XG and stuff as preseason. But I like what I saw. And again, up front, it was Correa and Thuram that we know is not going to be our partnership. There's still, some little tweaks that need to be made. Some players are still not fully fit, and you saw that they didn't start. Like Pavard didn't start, Dumfries didn't start. Hakan rested for a precaution, so Hakan and Lautaro are not injured, but it's just that I've spoken about it on my Twitter as well. I think what happened is that Inzaghi and the staff realized that this is going to be the longest season ever in the history of football, in terms of just football in general, like league, Champions League, but it's a new Champions League format, which means we play, is it 2 or 3 games more just in the group stage? Obviously, Coppa Italia, Supercoppa in between, and then the new addition is the Club World Cup, which we're partaking in. That's going to take us, into June, maybe even July, I think, if you get into the last stages of it. So I think because of that, Inzaghi and his coaching staff have raised the intensity levels of the preseason training, and we've seen a lot more injuries from these Inter players than we've seen in past seasons. The only muscular real issue is the what we've seen is the Devray one. Both the Arnautovic and Taremi one are not tears, or they're not anything particularly serious, so they might be even back in the squad for the Genoa game. The Devray one, it seems like he's going to miss at least 2 or 3 games. But all the other ones, even Mkhitaryan rested slightly in the last game, Lautaro and Hakan today. So it was a precaution to not even take them to London, so they didn't even travel today. So that's kind of, that's the situation at the moment with this squad. So even with this, though, with Aslani starting, with Barella Miki in middle, and that lineup up front, as we said, Augusto, Bastoni as well today. Apparently, it's not an injury. Again, precaution. So you can see Inzaghi is already thinking of that first game. Why risk some of these players? Give them that week now to prepare for the Genoa game. And we know Augusto a lot of the times will probably, if we don't end up signing that left centre back, so that's another gap. If we don't end up signing that left centre back, Augusto will end up covering this position a lot as well. So yeah, that's the situation at the moment. So when you take all of that into account, pretty good connection and pretty good performance from Inter. The Koku connection, Ahmed calls it. Yeah, I mean, so how many names can we get? Yeah, we can go Kotu, Koti, Tikus, Torres. But whatever we call it, I don't want to see it. I definitely don't want to see it. I don't want to see Joaquin Correa in the first game of the season against Genoa. I do not want to see that. The fact that this guy is still getting minutes, and we're even contemplating the fact that this guy might, can we work him out as a fourth center forward? No, Beppe Auxilio, you need to get this sorted, man. It's just crazy that we still have some guys like this, and in the second half we still have bloody Eddie Saucedo coming on. It's just, again, I don't think we've had a bad mercato, but we definitely haven't had the mercato that we've needed until now. But I'm maintaining to you guys that I'm maintaining the faith with the directors. Even when you think back, let me give you an example that I thought about today. 2010 triplete season, guys. Wesley Sneijder. Mourinho's Inter needed a number 10. because Mourinho wanted to transition, wanted the number 10. He, you know, in the previous season he was playing 4-3-1-2. He tried to play Stankovic there. You know, he wanted to sign. You know, there was rumors that he wanted to sign Deco. He wanted Lampard. And then Inter, I think, if I remember correctly, either 27th or 28th of August, they signed Wesley Sneijder. So even that triplete team that, you know, we had a fantastic mercato. We bought all these players. We got Eto'o in the Ibrahimovic swap. We still needed that diamond in the, you know, the cherry on top of the cake. And we waited right until the last few days of the mercato to get Wesley Sneijder from Real Madrid. Even last season, you know, we don't even need to go back that far. Benji Pavard, we waited, you know, until the last few days of the mercato to get that deal for Pavard over the line. So there is still time, and Inter usually, especially Italian clubs, when they don't have much money to spend, the last few days of the transfer window is when you get more room for negotiation. So, you know, if someone is asking for 10 million for a player, by the time, if they need to get rid of him, by the time, you know, you get to the end, you might get a few less million down, or you might even get, you know, that loan with obligation that we like to do at Inter. So I still have faith that Inter will get rid of one striker at least and bring in someone else, and then also cook up something for that left centre-back position that they keep talking about wanting to do. I've grown to accept now that they're not going to do anything about the right wing back position. I'm not happy about going into the season with Matteo Darmian or Denzel Dumfries, either of them as the starter right wing back. But it is what it is. As I said, I've accepted that from pretty much beginning of Mercato, because they said that we're going to renew Dumfries' contract. So that was really the end of that. And after Buongiorno went to Napoli, I mean, that was really unrealistic anyway, but I know that they did like Buongiorno, and his agent did confirm that Inter were interested. But, you know, I've grown to also accept that there's going to be another season of Acerbi and De Vrij as the starting centre backs. Personally, that's not what I would have done, but that's not what we're going to do. You know, we talked about it, you know, even before the season ended. Need a new right wing back. Long term, we need a new centre back, or can we test out Bisek in different positions there at the back? Hasn't happened. It is what it is. But I do still expect and have hope that our Marotta and Auxilio will add the missing pieces to this team. I don't know about you guys. You guys let me know in the comments. Matteo says, aside from the last 15 minutes when we flooded the field with Serie B level players, it was a fun game to watch. Yeah. You know, as you guys know, I was contemplating going to this game. It wasn't even, I did mention, of course, the price, because I have to travel out to London. The train tickets are not cheap here in the UK, and the prices for the tickets for the game actually were £40 plus, which is a ridiculous steal in my opinion. But actually, the main reason I didn't go is because I had other plans with like family, in-laws. But, you know, it still wasn't particularly something that drew me. If Lautaro, Hakan, Bastoni, like the whole first team were playing, and, you know, we had these exciting new signings, if Zielinski was there, Taremi, then I would have been like, oh, I regret not going. But then, you know, it looked like a nice, you know, day out. So shout out to the guys. If anyone's here who went to the game, shout out to you guys. It would have been nice to link up with some of the guys from Twitter and Inter Club London. It was much better performance than Al Ittihad game, yeah, for sure. And Bisek once again shining, yeah. Bisek had the pre-assist for the goal, and we'll get into it. What's my expectation for the new season? Still the title, bro. Still, Lucas. Still the title for sure. Scudetto. I think we still are the favorites. I think Milan have done smart work in the Mercato. Juventus have had an interesting Mercato. Roma have had an interesting Mercato. Napoli with Conte is always going to be, you know, interesting. But I still think even without, you know, all these marquee signings that maybe we want to make, the base of this team remains, the foundation still remains the best in Serie A, in my opinion. So I still have expectations of Scudetto for sure, to be the favorites for the Scudetto, and to go a little bit deeper in the Champions League. But we'll have to see how this kind of new format kind of works. You know, playing more games actually kind of might actually backfire on this Inter team, because in terms of depth, do we really, like, we have 2 players per position, but is it like depth, quality depth to challenge for, you know, Serie A, Coppa Italia, Supercoppa? Champions League, and then at the end the World Cup. I don't know. And yeah, of course, everything always depends on that, Indra. Like cross and prayers for every everything that you've got, every god that you believe in, to keep at least our main pieces healthy. No serious injuries for sure. Tried for Frattesi as a backup striker. No, I don't think we did today. It was at the end we played. Daniele Mari tweeted it. Let me get the tweet up. It was Quieto and Salcedo, so two of the Salcedo's not even a Primavera anymore because he's 22, 23 years old. But yeah, this was the midfield: Frattesi, Berenbrook, Topalovic, and up front it was Quieto and Salcedo. But yeah, I know that's something that maybe should be also tested out with Frattesi's goal scoring ability. I would potentially. Inter could have been up 3 up at halftime. Yeah, Di Marco missed a good chance. Correa, yeah, should have been a penalty on by Correa on Darmian, so that should have been a penalty. So yeah, first half was very solid from Inter. And yeah, let's get into that. Really, really good goal from Thuram that we want to see more of this season, hopefully. Again, I'm going to bring it up on screen, but hopefully it's a preseason friendly and I don't get copyrighted for this. So you see here, Bisek getting pressed by Mudryk. And this is what Bisek has been doing all this preseason, and we've seen it last season as well. His ball carrying ability. Pavard's also got this, but of course, Bisek's got also this kind of athleticism and confidence about him as well, that in these types of things, he might even be even better than Pavard on it. But yeah, beats Mudryk's press, beats another guy, and then here, Correa in the space. Again, can't believe we're talking about Tucu Correa in 2024, August 2024. But it is what it is. He actually does something really nice here. Doesn't necessarily, you can't even call it he dribbles past here, but very bad defending from the Chelsea. I think it's Fofana here. Tries to go out and press, but Correa just lets the ball run past his body. Beautiful pass into space to Thuram, who surprisingly, I always want him to pull the trigger. A lot of the times I'm frustrated with Thuram. Like he always tries to, play intricate 1-2s, or he doesn't always shoot, but he needs to really, develop that killer instinct in front of goal. But in this goal, he really, really showed that on his weak foot. Boom. First time past Robert Sanchez in goal. Really, really nice goal and very, very impressive play from start to finish. Yeah, Julio was annoyed because it was Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea have become one of those annoying teams now. Everyone seems to dislike because of the way they operate in the transfer window, and I agree. Bigotelli says, I want to see Pavard, Bisek, Bastoni backline. Yeah, I think a lot of people want to see that. I would even say, I think Bisek, what we just saw there, Bisek, the problem is Bisek would almost be wasted in the middle with this kind of ball carrying ability. He likes to, play 1-2s on the side and be able to go up and down in the middle. We saw it in the second half. Actually, Bisek got, for just a few minutes, he got to play in the middle and he tried to dribble out from the back, which we don't want to see that from the middle. The middle of the three has to be a little bit more safe than the other two guys, because on the side you have a bit more space. The middle is more congested. But is potential, something that we can. I don't think we're going to be honest. I know I see on Twitter a lot of people want to see this, but I don't think Inzaghi is going to test this out as a Bisek in the middle. I think because of Pavard's experience and a little bit more tactical nous and defensive nous and being able to man mark a little bit better, I think you might see Pavard tested in the middle more than Bisek in the middle. But as a trio, I agree, Bigotelli. I would like to see that. In terms of ball playing, that's the best trio that we could have as a back three. Pavard, Bisek, Bastoni, all three of them really comfortable on the ball. All three of them can play passes through the line, can carry the ball, can even play pingers, across the pitch. That's in terms of just ball playing ability, that's definitely the best trio that we could possibly play. And it would be nice to see Inzaghi testing it out. Yeah, Ian Kerr confirming that Bastoni didn't play due to fatigue. Thank you. Aslani has been May in preseason, yeah, but again, I thought he had a good Euros, and today he was okay. Still not to the quality of Hakan. Definitely that drop off is still there, but again, this is still the backup to who's the backup to in the Milan team to Benacer, like all the Serie A teams have their starters, but we just don't have that type of budget to get a guy to compete with the Hakan at the moment. But he's getting there. I know what you mean, but Bisek again in the centre back position. You see whoever plays there, whether it's Augusto, even Fontana Rosa in preseason, people have even been saying keep Fontana Rosa. I feel like the way that we play, it's a lot easier to be impressive the way that we build up from the back as a centre back, the way Inzaghi's system is set up, that all the defenders are given a lot of coverage, a lot of protection. They're not really left 1v1 too much out in open space. And the way that we play technically football, they're allowed to also shine. Hakan's position, you definitely need a lot of, not just on the ball ability, which Aslani has, it's the off the ball, that running and protecting the back three and having the defensive nous, and mostly is the physical side. It seems like Aslani lacks in, like able to win the ball back or win duels, winning balls in the air, where Hakan, even if he doesn't win it, Hakan he'll find a way to kind of sneak, touch the ball slightly, or make the other guy make the mistake, even if he wins it ahead of him, or make the foul. So he's got that understanding and the IQ which Aslani off the ball still has to build. In recent years, games at Marassi are not easy for yeah, definitely. It's a very hard first game of the season for Inter away at Marassi. Gilardino's Genoa last year were one of the most overperforming or overachieving teams, most impressive teams. And yeah, the game against them away was not easy. I remember it was 1-1, Arnautovic scoring. Di Marco played for 90 minutes. Yeah, I think he was the only starter that completed a full 90 minutes. And that is probably because of that left centre-back thing, they're talking about. There's no TJ, no Buchanan. Bastoni was rested. So there's no left centre-back here or a left wing-back to kind of, allow Augusto Di Marco to rotate. So I can see now why they're talking about that. One injury to Bastoni and now you're already kind of struggling there. But again, it's just like, in my opinion, it's not really a big priority for me. But I can see why they want to add someone there. But yeah, it's good to see Di Marco completing his full 90 minutes, which is obviously quite rare. Otlo, hey, hope you're doing well, bro. Hope you're doing well down there in South Africa. Really like the triplete example and hoping Mercato opens up slightly to complete the squad. Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. But I like to, sometimes you just got to reframe your thinking, because you think like, oh, this is a disastrous Mercato. But actually, a lot of Italian teams, it's the norm. Not even just Italian teams, in general, things really pick up towards the end of the Mercato when teams start to get a bit more desperate. The dominoes, one team sells a player, that means they need to buy another player, which means you could buy their player, and then that means you can sell another player. It just opens up these different opportunities at the end of Mercato. Crazy Inter, as Mattia says, hit that like button. Thank you, Mattia. Always day one. And I'm sure Mattia will be always there for people to remind you in the season to leave that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Indra says he's not worried about Milan. It's time for Mori as the centre back. Lauti owns that guy, of course. Lauti. I'm sad that we didn't get to see Lauti. I wonder how it's going to work with Lauti. He's not played pre-season now, so if he starts in the next game, in our first game, and that's what the Sky Sport lineup. You guys know this will be my go-to as always. This predicted lineups from Sky Sport Italia, who for me we'll see in the season, but last season they were definitely the most reliable. Not 100% hit rate, but I would say probably like 80% hit rate. They're saying that it will be a Pavard, Acerbi, Bastoni backline, obviously Sommer and goal, Darmian, Barella, Hakan, Mkhitaryan, and Di Marco, and then up front, Thuram and Lautaro. But there's no way Lautaro is going to have a lot of minutes in his legs, coming straight from his holiday, no preseason games. Maybe there might be, I reckon there might be like a behind closed door preseason friendly, maybe to get some minutes for Lautaro and some of the others, maybe against like, the Primavera team or something like that. I wonder what the strategy is going to be. Like, is it that they're going to give him for 45 minutes as a starter against Genoa or 60 minutes? And is Taremi then ready to come in after that? Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because, you don't want to overstretch Lautaro in this preseason as well now. Like, are they going to go soft on him? Like, are they going to have him like do a light preparation so his legs are not too heavy for the Genoa game? But at the same time, there's no time to give Lautaro a proper preseason afterwards, because once the game starts, that's it. There's no break. So let's actually have a quick look together at the fixtures for Inter, because then the games come thick and fast. So yeah, Genoa Inter, 17th of August. Then you've got 1 week later Inter Lecce at home, and then again a week later Inter Atalanta. There's no time in between to give Lautaro like a mini preseason. It could be here, between 30th and 15th, but this is the international break. The problem is, and then he's gonna probably fly off again to Argentina, isn't he? That's usually the reason why there's a gap, right? Or is that because? No, yeah, that must be the international break in between the Nations League and all that jazz. And afterwards we got the Milan derby. So yeah, I wonder what the physical preparation is going to look like for Lautaro, because it's not ideal that he's not had any minutes in this preseason. Oh, we got the full Kerr Mafia in the house. Debbie Kerr in the house. Hope you are doing well, Debbie. Thank you as always for the continued support. Wonder what Limone do to solve the luxury problem of having Bisek and Pavard. Yeah, I mean, again, I would solve that quite easily. I would start playing Bisek here as well. He played that position for his previous team, Aarhus. I think he can play it. I think that's pretty easy solve, and it also solves that left centre back problem. That's how I would solve it. I don't know, as we discussed, people would also solve it by playing Bisek more in the middle or giving him some experience in the middle. But if Inzaghi was going to do it, I feel like he would have done it in this preseason. But he's not even hinted at really doing that. Apart from, as I said today, he played a few minutes before he got subbed off in the middle of the three. Was Topalovic any good? No, I don't think even how many minutes did he get? He got 5 minutes, bro, at the end, and one accurate pass out of two. So no, not really enough to judge, unfortunately. Correa's first is, oh my goodness. Correa's first assist in over a year, had 0 assists, 0 goals with Marseille last year. Did he not get any in this preseason? I felt like he got. Did he not do like a really nice? I think he scored that goal, didn't he? The first few games of the first game of preseason against Lugano where he skinned that guy, our former youth player. My goodness, the fact that this guy actually, Ian, I know you really hate Correa. The fact that we might even see Correa coming on for Lautaro in that Genoa game if we don't get rid of him by then. Crazy. But again, speaking of maybe out of faith and more out of hope, but also from what I've read and understood is that because of how much Correa costs, Arnautovic looks like he's staying whether we like it or not, because on the books he doesn't cost that much. But Correa, he earns like 3 million net just in salary, and then his cost on the books is like another 6.5 or something. Like, he costs a lot to Inter, even just him being there. So they might even just cancel out his contract, rescind his contract. From what I understand, that's the stage that we're at with Correa. But if they don't bring anyone in, we might end up seeing Correa again staying. But I think, as I said, from what I've been reading and from what I understood, they will do their utmost to not have Correa on their books just because of how much it costs, whether it's a loan, which actually they can't do because it's on his last year of his contract, or they just kind of gift him somewhere. Oni Kiema became a YouTube member. Thank you very much, Oni. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate that for the support. And yeah, more channel only or member only content will start again. You know, those kind of member only Q&As that I do once in a while. Definitely will bring that again as a reward for you guys, and also member only giveaways that we've always been doing, those member only giveaways. So if you remember, we run those at least twice a season. We'd run those member only giveaways. Do you think we'll have a better goal differential this year than last year? Nah. My prediction is, yeah, if things are remaining the same, I think we'll concede a little bit more. Like last year was ridiculous. I think there was a little bit of overperformance from the likes of Acerbi, De Vrij. Like in general, we were just so good. Again, I think it was because Lautaro was performing so well up front that we would go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and then we'd be comfortable defending, you know, deeper and being able to counterattack, which helped us concede less goals as well. So I think we're going to concede a little bit more this year if things remain the same at the back in terms of players. I think the big thing will be how Inzaghi coaches and motivates this team, because yeah, the team is pretty much almost the same in terms of the starters as well. At the moment, Zielinski and Taremi are not going to start; they're going to be starters. So, same exact starting team. It's all up here. Are they hungry? Is Inzaghi get that hunger out of them again to go again, be the best team in Italy by a mile, by a country mile? Have they got that fire still in their belly to do it, which they definitely did last year? Or is their focus, you know, we know that last year there was no focus on Champions League. Are they going to have more focus on the other competition this year? Maybe. Let's see how it goes, because we know Inzaghi does like winning the other cups too. And last year was almost like, I felt like you could feel there was that pressure from the club as well to like, come on, Simone, this year we don't care about anything. Just bring us the second star. I wonder how it's going to be this year. Why not try Fatesi, right? But we did talk about that last season as a potential because we were having some injury issues, but there's no need, Pape. Like, we've got Dumfries and Darmian. Numerically, it's fine. There's no point doing that. But we've talked about it, that in terms of like, when you look at it as just characteristics in terms of his running power, and he's not very, you know, technical in the middle, not really good at retaining the ball, and he's really good at running in behind, decent crossing ability, it could work, but more as like, you know, an emergency situation. Let me see what else you guys his Correa was, oh my goodness. If he starts against Genoa, guys, that I think that would be, then I have to give them, if Joaquin Correa starts as a starter against Genoa, then yeah, this Mercato has to be like, you just have to give many minus points, because that means that you weren't able to get a replacement, you weren't able to get him out, and then you weren't able to get a replacement for him. I mean, I know there's still some days after that Genoa game to still remedy this, but if Correa starts against Genoa, you have to give this Mercato like up until then, like a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, because Joaquin Correa in 2024 cannot be the starter. Like, that just cannot happen. That is a big, big indictment on Ausilio Marotta if that happens. Gilardino ball and Gotti Terrorismo ball in the second giornata, bloody hell. Yeah, Gotti at Lecce is not going to be easy either. But we had a pretty good record against Lecce, right, last year. Second half, yeah, it was not even worth watching, to be honest, Mossab. It was all the Primavera boys, not worth watching. How about the Sensi Bear? How's the aerial duel stats? Yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked at it, but I'm saying that I can see Inzaghi, because of his experience, probably trying that out more than Bisek in the middle of the three. Correa is 6.5. Yeah, thank you, Ian. 6.5 million on the books. So yeah, even if they have to pay him off, like, you know, his salary 3 million, and then take that, you know, a loss, because it is a loss in the book when you pay off a player. It's a devaluation of an asset, so you have to register that as a loss on the books. But I think they might just do that, even if it saves them like 500k or 1 million. Like, they might just do that. Arnauto, yeah, Mattia mentioned in our Discord chat that he saw some Serbian media talking about Arnautovic maybe might be going to Red Star Belgrade, but yeah, unfortunately, the Serbian league I don't think just has the wages or the pull for that type of move at this type. It would be nice if they could, but it's looking unfortunate that it won't happen. Bisek is looking clean, yeah, 100%. Bisek is my MVP of the preseason for sure. AC and Napoli title defense should be a big one. Yeah, that's the thing. I hope we saw complacency is the biggest danger, not even the competitors. Complacency is the biggest danger to a title winning team. Whether you're Real Madrid, whether you are, Man City, you have to the level has to remain high in training, in preseason, every single friendly game that you play in training, like you cannot let the level drop. And usually big teams do that by bringing in competition. So making sure that, people are not sleeping on the laurels, or, in the case of Real Madrid, you've got guys like Kroos, Luka Modric, guys that are just here, different level, and they just never let their levels drop, and they're just amazing professionals, and the winning mentality just there. Do Inter have those players? I think we have some guys like I think like guys like Mkhitaryan, who's just super professional. He's an example to everyone, keeps the level high. Now we'll see. We've not seen it because remember the Conte guys, Bastoni, Barella, these guys were there when we won the title there. And we saw that there was some sort of drop off there. And Inzaghi's first season as well. Remember, don't forget how angry we were, guys, that we dropped the ball that season against Milan when they won that title. So we've seen that this team has got some mental failings at some stages, but again, now we're 2-3 years after these types of things. So they've grown, they've changed, and I have faith. Bastoni's what now, 24, 25, Barella's what, 26, 27, Lautaro captain, then we've got guys like Mkhitaryan here now, Zoma, really, really experienced players. So I hope that we're not going to see any complacency in this team and no level of drop off. And then the level is kept at that, high level that we left last year. So we'll see. Time for Zoma to step up. Many times last season he got untested. Yeah, but that was a testament to our defending, not just our defenders, but our defending as a team. But today we saw he stepped up. There was a beautiful overhead kick that Nkunku, I think, was tried. It was going in the corner, hit it beautifully, and Zoma was really amazing reactions on that one. The goal, I know that it looks like maybe could have saved it, but the guy hit it first time power. It was only like few meters away from goal. I don't think Zoma could have done much about that. But yeah, Zoma maybe will have to step up a little bit more this year. But at the same time, if he doesn't, there's a hungry young keeper. I know he's 25, 26, Martinez, but for a goalkeeper that is young, he's ready to step in if Zoma shows sign of decline. I see. Speaking of Conte, yeah, I mean that is going to be so good to watch now that we're not part of it, isn't it, Ian? Like we lived it, especially me as a content creator. The stress of having Conte as your coach is like, oh my god, his post-match comments, more drama, and we're seeing that already at Napoli. He's not happy with the transfer dealings at the moment, and it's potentially kicking off already. And there was rumors that he might even quit if he's not given his signings before the start of the season. It's going to be so entertaining. Performance was good. We talked about it, Kartik. Best case scenario, Correa starts, scores in debut games, so Tucu will take him off for our win-win scenario. Yeah, but that scenario is, even if he does score an amazing on debut goal, no one's buying this guy. I've just lost all hope. I've lost all hope in selling Correa. Literally, not even could have even muster up a few goals. And Alexis went out there to Ligue 1, Marseille, took that team by the scruff of the neck and became their best player. This guy, 0 goals, 0 assists. Like even if I think if you did like a few like 5 assists, 6 3 or 4 goals, you could at least looks like a decent player that someone can buy. But 0 goals, 0 assists, and I still think he had some injury issues, which was actually his main issue. It was always, but he got injured. No one just wants to touch this guy. So even if he does that, I just know no one is going to buy him. We successfully upload Correa, hopefully. Yeah. I think I don't know about Luvumbo. I haven't seen the links, but we know that the Sassuolo connection. This is why I was always disagreeing with a lot of the Inter fans who say they wanted Sassuolo relegated. Sassuolo, as much as you might dislike them, they actually, did us a few favors here and there. And we also paid a lot of money for their players, like Sensi, Fratesi, but we saw they're one of the few Serie A teams that actually spends money for young players. Like they bought Mulattieri off us. They bought a couple of the Roma youth players last year as well. They're one of those teams that you can cook up some, interesting, suspicious dealings with them. Let's say that, I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of Serie A dealings. Because they actually had they have quite a rich owner behind them, Sassuolo. But yeah, if we get that 6.5 million cost off the books, Beppe Ausilio will definitely get that replacement in. Who it is, we don't know. Future Hendricks, hope you are doing well, man. Yeah, long time no see. Tambir, hope you are doing well as well. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that, Tambir. It's crazy. Indro says, out of topic, I get so many buy-in videos taught in South Korea from YouTube algorithm. Never remember Napoli. Well, yeah, we know, Serie A teams and marketing is just, useless. But, Kim Min-jae was only there for one season. They didn't even get the chance to do it properly. But we know they still wouldn't have done anything about it. So, yeah, Bayern, they know. Bayern is definitely one of actually in terms of marketing, because I work in the marketing, so I look at these kind of things. They were one of, even ahead of some Premier League teams. They were really ahead of the curve on some of these things in terms of marketing. But yeah, we know Serie A teams are useless with that. Victor, hope you're doing well. Yeah, thank you. Got my trim yesterday. Sassuolo will never a bad word against them. Got my bet up last season with them relegated. There you go. Made some. They made some good money out of them. Marketing is in mud, 100%. Do you think that we are in transition season? No, I think Pape like a transition season. I would say last season, because we had so many different new players coming in last season. Remember, we had like a squad overhaul. So in that sense, that was more of a transition season than this year. This year, I would say, is more of like a consolidation season, because we've not changed players, we've not bought new starters, we're only adding kind of depth. So you can't call this transition season. I would say this is more like a consolidation season and a season to see whether, did we overperform last year? Was that really our level? Because, yeah, we're going into the season, same coach, same players. So we're literally, it's going to show us, was that our real level last season, or were we like a Napoli, flash in the pan? But that's also an advantage for us. We literally I think there was a stat, was it only 4 or 5 teams in Serie A that are going to have the same coach as last year. So the fact that we retain Inzaghi and the same players and this team chemistry actually might be quite a nice thing compared to the other teams. All the other main teams, Juve, new coach, big squad overhaul. Roma, same coach, but lots of changes coming in. Milan, new coach after a long time with Pioli. Napoli, completely different new coach, different style of play. So that kind of boring mercato that we've had, that we've kept the same players and the same coach, is actually probably gives us stability going into the next season, even though it's not exciting. You Correa to the Indian League. Even in the Indian League, I think this guy now is like, wouldn't do anything. Like, he's completely finished, like mentally. He's like, you can see, like, the goal today, the pass he did, like little movement he did. This, that he could he's still like could be a decent player, but he's completely like finished. I think mentally just can't recover from this complete flop that he had at Inter. Is it me or Beckenbauer has been? Yeah, as I said, he's my MVP. I mean, there is no MVP for a preseason, but if I had to give an MVP player for this preseason, games, and I haven't even watched every single game, but I can just see Bisek has been just. You can just tell he's been very impressive in all of them. So he's been my MVP. Who's going to play more minutes? Interesting question, Spudders. I want you guys to comment. This is a very interesting prediction question. So let's do it, guys. This is all comps, not just Serie A. All comps. Serie A, Coppa Italia, Supercoppa, Champions League. I don't know if to include the World Cup because it becomes so late. Like it's like Lige. But yeah, let's include that as well. But we'll probably make our decision, by the end of the Serie A season. So let's say by the end of Serie A season, who out of Zielinski or Frattesi is going to have more minutes? Have your predictions down below. My prediction is Zielinski. Let's see what you guys say. Yeah, this is why I wanted Empoli to stay up, Indro, because they're one of the few teams that develop young Italian players. And this season Viti, Esposito, Colombo, Fazzin, they probably have some more coming through their youth team this year. So I always want to see teams like Empoli stay up. I agree. So Easy says Zielinski because he will start more games. Yeah, that's the reason why. Mossab says Zielinski. Matteo says Zielinski. Adam, bro, I talked about it at the beginning of the stream. There's some things that we just need to accept, and I accepted it, maybe a couple of months ago already, that the fact that I don't want it. I don't want to see another season of Dumfries and Darmian as started right wing back, but that's something that we just have to accept now. Indra says Frattesi, Zielinski will have a little injury here and there. Interesting. Tambir, because he's experienced. Yeah, you have to put into the Inzaghi experience bucket. Zielinski is already ahead. Ian Kerr says Frattesi. I think Zielinski initially will play more and likely pick up an injury or two. Oh, interesting. So Indra and Ian Kerr are saying that Zielinski, even though if you look at Zielinski's injury history is almost spotless, they're reckoning that he was going to pick up an injury or two. But I'm sticking with the Zielinski because I think Zielinski has more in Inzaghi's system because of his technical security. He's more, his technical abilities are, his passing ability is cleaner. He's got more of a final ball as well. And shooting, but distance shooting. So he's a little bit more similar to Mkhitaryan, moldable into the Mkhitaryan role than Frattesi. For that reason, I think Zielinski is going to have more minutes. But Frattesi might have more appearances. Frattesi might have more appearances than Zielinski because he might, again, have another season becoming that impact substitution that we bring on for those goals and assists that he did this season when we're chasing a game or we need a goal or we're looking to play more in a transitional way. So I think, Frattesi might end up having 40, 45 appearances, but because he's coming on as a substitute in the last 20 minutes of a game. But in terms of minutes, I think Zielinski will have more minutes. Oh, Victor says the other way around. So he thinks Frattesi more at the beginning and Zielinski later on. Interesting. No worries, Adam. Thank you, bro. Big up to you as well. Hakim, yeah. Watching Hakim is always one of those like, why? Indra says, why Oaktree not all going on Ndoye? He can cover right wing back, play striker for Switzerland. Well, again, they've made their decisions, Indra. Their priority clearly was this backup goalkeeper. Again, not my decision, not what I would have done, but this is what they've decided. They decided that they needed to go for the long-term goalkeeper. The left centre-back is their priority. The backup centre-mid and backup striker with Taremi and Zielinski. So those were their four main priorities, and also is that way Inzaghi, Inzaghi maybe doesn't request it. He's happy with moving with Darmian and Dumfries moving forward. But yeah, in my opinion, I would have pushed. I would have ignored the goalkeeper situation. I would have just gone for like not Audero, but someone like Audero for another season, makeshift loan, and then focused my resources on the striker, like after Taremi, the Correa replacement, the right wing back, or maybe the centre back for the long term. But again, it's hard if you can't get rid of, we're talking about Correa, getting rid of Correa's cost. De Vrij earns like 3 million as well. He costs, on the books around 6 million as well. So it would only, if they can get rid of De Vrij, there was rumors of Saudi Arabia wanting, one of the Saudi clubs wanting De Vrij. If that happened, I think they would have gone also in for a proper centre back. But those pieces need to fall into place as well. So I just don't think they prioritized that. And yeah, Dumfries did not look good today when he came on. Fratesi, not great for our build-up. Great super sub. Yeah, it seems like that's going to be his role. I'm still waiting and hoping that he develops those aspects of his game. As I said, this is the season where I judge Fratesi properly. So let's see how he does. Fratesi is only good at scoring, does nothing else even today. I can't remember. Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. Very, very limited player. Very, very limited player. Hey, Benveto, our friend and now benevolent, almost investor of the channel. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. We miss you on these live streams. We really, really do, man. Hope you're doing well out there in Egypt. But yeah, Benveto, please buy Inter if you're still interested. Agree with Pepe. Next summer mercato is the big one with so many players leaving or retire. Yeah, next season will probably be that potentially transition season where we might see a lot of change happening. Is Darmian going to renew? Is Mkhitaryan going to renew? Is Zoma staying? Is Acerbi staying? This next season is really potentially a big season of change, like last season was. But actually, like starters, we're seeing potentially a lot of starters change. Most upset I'm saying Zielinski because I don't trust that Mickey stays injury free like last season and Fratesi cannot replace Mickey. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason. Zielinski will have more minutes, but Fratesi will score more goals. Yeah, I mean, we can say that confidently. Zielinski's had some seasons where he's put up some goals, but Fratesi is really, really impressive with his goal scoring ability. Yeah, I spoke about it briefly earlier. So I think what's going on is that because we're gonna have the longest season in history, I think what's been happening is Inzaghi and the coaching staff have like really upped the levels of the preseason training. So I think they've run the guys harder than they have ever before because they're preparing them for a really long season. The new Champions League has more games for us, more fixtures. Obviously, Scudetto, Serie A, Coppa Italia, the usual there. But then we also have at the end of June and July, we've got the Club World Cup, which is a new addition. So I think because of that, this is just my uneducated guess, we're getting a lot more injury because these players are getting, the load is a little bit higher on these players. But luckily, there's no serious injuries there. The Vrij one is the only one that seems like he'll be out for a few weeks. But already the Taremi and Arnautovic ones, they're saying that they potentially could be back in the squad for the first game. So just like, more like overload on the muscles type of injuries. So they'll probably like dial it back now in the build up to the game. But I think what they did was ramp it up a little bit. They don't care if we lose some of these preseason games, but they want these guys to be ready, raring to go for this long season ahead. So that's my guess with the injuries. Thank you, Mattia, for reminding the people as always. Who do you think will fit more in the CCB, Bisek or Pavard? So yeah, again, I talked about this briefly earlier. So I think in Inzaghi's mind, because of Pavard's experience, he's also played, different leagues, tactical nous, football IQ in general. he probably sees Pavard more if he was asked. We haven't seen either of them really, but if he was asked about it, I think he would probably prefer to play Pavard there as a man marker. But I think with Bisek, there's that dilemma because he's so good going forward. Bisek, like Pavard, both of them are really good going forward. That it almost feels wasted to have them centre back. But because how big Bisek is, like he's such a, this year he looks even bigger than he did last year. He's an absolute giant. Physically, is always a monster in the aerial duel. So you could potentially develop him. I potentially could see that development long term. It might take him some time though, because again, you need in the central of the three. That's probably the guy that needs to have the most kind of defensive IQ, like reading of the game, know when to drop off, lead the other guys, tell them when the offside line. He's kind of becomes the leader at the back, the middle of the three, because he sees the whole picture, and then also usually has more of a man marking role because the central striker usually kind of have to almost man mark him. So you need to get your defensive IQ up to a level to play that role. But I think Bisek probably has more potential to be developed in that role, to be honest. But as I said, I think Inzaghi, because of Pavard's experience, would probably rather play him there. Yeah, I mean, Arnold, we know that again, these type of pieces that need to fall into place. That's probably something I would have done, but De Vrij, if those Saudi rumors were true, I definitely would have sold him, even if it was 5 million, 10 million, whatever you could get for De Vrij, and try to get someone like Jaga Bijou in. Yeah, I would have done that. But it's easy to say, sell this guy, sell that guy, get rid of that guy, but then when the offers don't come in. But then at the same time, De Vrij still had a very good Euros alongside Van Dijk. I would say a lot of the times he was even more impressive than Van Dijk. So he's got one more. He's got one more in him. One more season, like the Cherby have. They got one more season in them, and then next year we rest that position, and that looks like it's what we have to do. Mkhitaryan probably he's the immortal Mkhitaryan. Hey, Nick's not good to see you, man. Yeah, finally you caught Sharma stream. You worried about the team going into the season? No. So as I said, I'm still, even if we go into the season with this exact team, I mean, my main issue is the Correa. I just cannot see Correa starting for this team or even getting minutes. But outside of that, essentially going in the season with the exact same starters as last year, but adding better depth in Taremi and Zielinski, I still see us as favorites. What I'm worried about, or I think what we discussed, was complacency. We're a team that going in the season with the same coach, which not a lot of the Serie A teams are doing. As we said, I think 4 or 5 out of the 20 Serie A teams are going into the season with the same coach. So we've got that stability in coaching, starters, majority of the squad, so the chemistry, confidence as well coming in. But at the same time, we saw with Napoli, us as well, when we, with Conte, the Conte season after he left. But then, Napoli and Milan, we saw that complacency or level of drop off mentally. That's my worry, because we haven't added to this. But it's still, we're not talking about our team. Thuram is 27, Lautaro 26. These are the guys that are coming into their peak. Barella, Bastoni, Bisek coming in with his hungry mentality. Huck had an amazing year and tournament at the Euros. I still have faith in these guys. So I'm not really too worried. I just know that we just haven't had a sexy or exciting transfer window. But do we really need it? Yes, there's definitely, as I keep saying, there's pieces I would have, wanted, like a new right wing back or a long-term centre back. And, to replace Correa probably. But even without those pieces, I think we're still the strongest team in Serie A. Lord Uxas was the Shamaforza Inter. Where was Crybaby Lukaku today? Yeah, that guy is not even part of the squad at Chelsea. Yeah, good thing you bring it up, because they don't even let him train with Chelsea anymore now. It's that bad. Pavard can, if you remember, we finished the Atletico Madrid game with Pavard right wing back, Darmian left wing back, I think it was Bisek, De Vrij, Bastoni, and which was one of the reasons why we lost that game as well, or went to penalties. But yeah, Pavard, he's played a lot of his career as a right back, so right wing back is no issue for him. But he doesn't like playing that position. Hamdo, hope you're doing well. Based on injuries, these results, are you worried? No, as I just answered, not really that worried. The injuries, hopefully, is not something that continues. As I said, my uneducated guess is that the injuries is because of the higher intensity in this preseason because they're getting ready for a longer season. But hopefully, and you saw none of these injuries are serious. They're all just like niggling, very slight muscular injuries or fatigue. So I hope it's just that they're really high preseason loads, which I think, and I agree with, they probably have to do this. Just the season's going to be crazy. Bijol, maybe, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, even if we don't sign him this year, it could be if he doesn't sign a new contract with Udinese. Beppe is going to be cooking up something. Scalvini, yeah, unfortunate with his ACL injury though, so we'll have to see how he recovers from that ACL tear. I think we'll drop off a bit, but like Marotta said, I think we'll focus more on UCL. Yeah, so we discussed that. We'll see how last year we knew everything was obsession, second star. This year, we saw it from the beginning of last year. My videos, we talked about it. Inzaghi said it. Marotta said it from the start. The players were saying it. There was an obsession with the second star. This year, already in preseason, I'm hearing more about, we got multiple competitions. We're Intel. We need to do good in all of them. So I think we're going to see maybe slight back more focus on UCL this year. But again, I want to see how this new format actually works out as well. Have you seen the third kit leaked? Yeah. The third kit looks a bit crazy, but I gotta admit, you guys gotta admit, the second one, and as I made a short video, I don't know if you guys saw it. I gave this a 9 out of 10. I think it's wonderful, the new second kit, and I'm definitely gonna buy it. Let's see if they got some pictures here on the official Inter website. Yeah, look at that. It just looks really, really nice, doesn't it, guys? Beautiful. The classic design, and then when you zoom in, you can't see it here, but the pattern as well, it's like really nice on the kit. Simone Inzaghi. Of course, we've got new no more Montclair, guys. We're not dripped out in Montclair anymore. If you see the new Inter pre-match kit as well is changed. It's a company called Canali, so it's more of like a classic formal wear company rather than Montclair was a high-end streetwear almost kind of vibe. This is completely different. Canali is like a much more traditional formal wear company. This is the new pre-match uniform, I guess you could say, for Inter, with the like beige cream trousers. But yeah, it looks really, really nice. The whole new, probably a lot more affordable Canali as well. I never got the chance, and I don't think I would ever be able to afford some of the Montclair stuff that Inter were putting out. But the Canali stuff, it looks nice and probably a lot more affordable. In Serie A, I'm only worried about Milan. I know it's preseason, but Milan have got a good preseason. And again, yes, they've changed coach, but Milan, similar to Inter, starting 11 is almost untouched. And you could say Morata is an upgrade on Giroud, because Giroud was declining, as good as he was for them. And Fonseca, I do like Fonseca. I think he's not really like a big upgrade on Pioli. I think he's almost like a sideways step on Pioli, but they might have like a nice new coach effect as well at the beginning of the season. I think they have like some excitement. Chukwueze has looked good in preseason. I think last year he was pretty bad, but Chukwueze was a big signing for them last season, and they paid like 25-30 million. If you play Chukwueze, Pulisic, Leao behind Morata, that's pretty exciting. So at the moment, I would say Milan, are more, and again, they finished second last year, so we were first, Milan finished second, so I think it's still Milan and Inter, the top two. Juve are just still work in progress. I think they're doing a lot of changes under Thiago Motta. All the gang is here. Yeah, Eduardo is here as well. After last year, we brought in 12 players. Maratta was really decided to go. Yeah, you got to remember, last year was a lot of change last year. So maybe this year they also want to have that stability. Very good point, Matteo. And there's no need. Last year there was a lot of change because a lot of expiring contracts, etc. as well. Am I the only name? No, I think a lot of people don't. I don't know if they know my first name, but if you don't know, it's Rahul. Bring us to 21st. Imagine if Correa becomes like the Thuram. I mean, he was always supposed to be the Thuram. When we signed Correa, he was supposed to be what Thuram was to us last year, the guy next to Lautaro, dribbling, creating, scoring, but just never had it. First season, I used to really like Correa. Yeah. I mean, I think he sold a lot of us dreams. I was made fun of being the Correa sexual. But, in theory, from what he showed at Lazio, he was supposed to be that guy that added, dribbling, some speed, some creativity. And that Argentinian, we saw it at the beginning with Lautaro. Even that first season, I never really called his first season a flop at Inter. I always say that whenever Correa played, Inter actually looked quite good at what Correa played in the first season under Inzaghi. And they actually, Dzeko Lautaro always looked really bad, whereas Correa and Lautaro looked a lot better. But then that second season was just wow. Just, you want to tear your eyes out watching that guy play. Yeah, exactly. I'm still wanting to kind of see how it all kind of works out, the new format, to be honest. That because having it so good, what do you mean? Are you having it so good in what? Didn't see the match today, Bins. I just woke up. But yeah, the new kit is great. It is great, man. It's lovely. What's your opinion, Joao Felix? I would. Yeah, I think Inzaghi, he's, speaking of Correa, Joao Felix is probably like he's like the modern day Correa. It's not like Correa's from the past, but as in like, Joao Felix is what, 23, 24. He's basically like Correa. Joao Felix has everything in reality to be a successful second striker, but here I don't think he has it. But maybe Inzaghi, because Inzaghi can see, because Inzaghi did get the best out of Correa, but at Lazio, obviously at a lower level. Joao Felix was really good at Benfica, as much as, all due respect to Benfica and the Portuguese league, but slightly lower level. Once he went to Chelsea, Atletico, Barcelona at times, he hasn't really but if he's available on the loan, but again, he would be a very expensive loan as well because of his wages. But I would put gamble on a fourth striker like Joao Felix and give him to Inzaghi and work your magic on him. But again, I don't think it's very realistic. Yes, Nick Knox was one of the winners. As I said, members only giveaways. We're talking about if you're not a channel member, randomly we do channel member only giveaways, and Ian Kerr and Debbie Kerr very kindly sponsored, I guess you could say, this giveaway a few weeks ago, and we sent it to Nick Knox. It was a Interclub Belfast tumbler. It was really, really nice. And yeah, Nick Knox is rocking that. I'm glad he made us laugh, at least. That's how bad he is. Yeah, definitely. Charms will always defend Correa. No, never. Correa is Thuram. If he forced Thuram to play with a knee injury and, no confidence and pecho frio, as the South Americans would say. Just, no grinta, no garra, nothing. I'm okay. Yeah, fifth option doesn't really matter. Yeah, it could be Arnautovic, Correa. Fifth option doesn't matter. It's just the fact that as a fourth, that means you are a rotation, because we know Inzaghi likes to take off, Thuram at the 70th minute, or Lautaro sometimes. I mean, less last season. Lautaro played a lot more full 90s last year. But in general, if you're a fourth striker in this Inter team, it means you are going to get a good amount of minutes. So that's the issue. As fifth, because you're fifth, you know that you're probably barely going to play. So Correa as a fifth, but that's the problem. Correa as a fifth costs you 6.5 million. It's just not possible. It's not possible. Mo did a watch along of today's game. Wow, that guy is, shout out to Mo, man. I would not do a watch along for a preseason. I mean, I barely do watch along for actual games. Yeah. Correa profile on paper, yeah, but in reality, how's our finances going, Ben? So basically, as usual, but this year we don't have to sell. So yeah, we don't have to do the Lukaku, Hakimi, or the Onana, Brozovic sales of the previous years. This year is, if the team stays as it is, we're fine. We don't need to sell anyone. But to buy, we need to sell. We kind of anticipated our incoming, or like we bought the backup goalkeeper for 13 million, Martinez from Genoa. So there was clearly some little extra room to play around with this year, but they used it on the goalkeeper. So now it's just, if you go out, then we can come in. So technically we're doing better than in previous years, but still, nowhere near other clubs who are able to spend a lot more than us. I guess you could say overrated, but again, we're talking about, fourth striker, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's an emergency. Memphis Depay, I wouldn't mind it as well. You saw against Atletico, he's the one who punished us as well. Not ideal again, but if no one signed Depay on a free transfer, we finally get rid of Correa. Why not? Yeah, mentality. You know what I mean? Like with Correa, like pecho frio, they say in South America, like soft mentality. It's easy for me to say, like, here, couch, what they call it, couch coach or whatever, sofa coach, to criticize professional footballers, but you can just tell guys like, Felix and Correa just don't really have that, killer mentality to be a top level footballer. Why have Lautaro Denzel? On Lautaro's end, we know that everything is done, and we saw there was a social media clip released that he was in the center of Milan. So they were shooting some sort of video with Lautaro. So I think there's going to be like a nice announcement with the video and everything, because they've said like his signature is already done as well. The Denzel one is still actually ongoing. So maybe there's still some hope, maybe with the Denzel situation, that if he doesn't renew, maybe we sell him and buy someone else at the right wing back. I don't know. So the Denzel one is still up in there. The Lautaro one, we're literally just waiting any day now. There's going to be like a nice announcement made for it. Denzel one is still ongoing talks. Our finance, it is on track to be sustainable. And this year we might only make a loss of 30 to 40 million, which actually sounds crazy, right? Saying that, but for Inter, actually, that's really good that we might only make a loss of 30 to 40 million for this financial year. But we're slowly getting to that stage where, we're able to buy without having to sell on the books. But at the same time, it depends. Another thing, we are going into this season, guys, as the highest paid team in Serie A. We'll have to see how Juve's last few dealings are in the Mercato, but it looks like Inter will go in the season as Inzaghi. I think his new contract might even be higher. I think Conte's bonuses might take him higher than Inzaghi's, and we don't know what Conte's bonuses are related to, but I think base pay, Inzaghi will be now the highest paid coach in Serie A. Inter as a squad, as a team, will be the highest paid potentially. And I think, Lautaro will be close to Vlahovic as well in terms of highest paid player in the league. So we're going with this kind of, in previous season, there was always, Allegri, Juventus, they were always highest paid coach, everything. Now we've got that extra, we are also highest paid team, highest paid coach. So that's interesting, new added bit of pressure perhaps on this team. I'm just seeing my Wi-Fi flagging up, so apologies if I'm freezing up. We're gonna end up soon the stream in a minute as well. If Suning's still around, Depay, I don't know about Depay, but Hermoso would have been an Inter player if Suning was our owner. Yeah, Hermoso would have been an Inter player. I don't think real money comes until we actually build a new stadium. Yeah, that has all been. Yeah, we definitely need a new stadium. There's talks, if you saw this week, that Inter and Milan both have offered the council or the mayor of Milan to buy San Siro and then renew it, which is finally, I've been against the renewal of San Siro because it doesn't make sense if we renew it and stay there, because if we don't own it, we still don't make money out of it. But if we own it, yes, it's still with Milan, and then we refurbish it, bring it up to modern standards, then it actually makes sense, because then we still own it and make a lot of money out of it. But yeah, that's also something that is still keeping us behind top teams in Europe. Juve lost another preseason game by the looks of it. Yeah, they're not looking good. But they are making, that's what I'm saying. Juve are making, coaching change. Going from Allegri to Thiago Motta is like literally night and day. So massive change on coaching, massive change on squad as well. Like lots of players in and out. Chiesa, half the new team. The team is new. Like lots of changes. So that's another thing to take into account, which is, yes, we haven't had an exciting mercato, but keeping the same pieces, keeping the same coach is also really important. Denzel's, Palm, good to see you in the house. His renewal will come after the window closes. I think he was waiting to see. Yeah, the Athletic reported that, didn't they? That he's actually waiting to see what's out there, which is actually, that should, like, Inter should take that as like a, they should be annoyed by that and say like, okay, you were waiting to see what's out there. Like, just sell this guy if he's like waiting to see before he renews. Like, get this guy out. And like, at least the one Bissaka rumors can be put to rest now. That guy was always linked to us as well. Oh, I mean, yeah, but like people do. Yeah, I know what you mean, Palm, but those are his friends. Like, it is, at the end of the day, those are his friends. Like, Acerbi, with the whole Acerbi thing, everyone was defending it. Like, once he's your friends, you defend your friends. These are this guy's friends. Yes, this guy like spends his time trying to be a rapper half the time, Depay, trying to make rap tracks. But at the end of the day, we're gonna be, scraping off the bottom of the free agent barrel, and he's at that free agent barrel. He's probably at the top of that barrel. It is what it is, Palm. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but he brings a bro drip. Eduardo Shams, 8.36k subscribers. What's the wall? Yeah, hopefully by the end of the season we can get to 10k. It's a slow growth. I feel like I'm reaching like some sort of ceiling now of like English speaking Interisti, but I need your help with that, guys. Spread the word when you can. As I said, this pre-match, whether it's live or recorded, you'll see me pre-match preview for each game. Sometimes live stream for those, and then post-match, whether it's live stream or recorded, whether it's straight afterwards or a day after or 2 days after, but there always will be some sort of reaction after the game. Transfer news, Mercato news, you guys know, Serie A news as well. So yeah, you guys know what to expect. We'll keep the content going as I have for the last, I think I've been going for 4 years, guys now. 4 years, this channel. So if you've been there since the beginning, shouts out to you. But if you're new, shouts out to you as well. We've talked about it on whatever happens to Juve, their revenues is always the highest in Serie A. Their revenues are always very high. They're backed by Exor, one of the biggest conglomerates in Italy and in the world. They own Fiat, Chrysler, lots of other companies. They're a multi-billion pound company that pumps money into Juve regardless of what happens on the pitch. And outside of that, their revenues are very high as well. So they always have more money to play with than us until we get to that. And they own their stadium, which is also another reason. So they're always going to have that upper hand financially on us until we need to still keep growing financially to get to that level. So that's why Juve can sell. And because they can sell, the whole under 23 thing, the Juve Next Gen, they were able to sell Sule, a guy that, barely played for their first team. They were able to sell him for 30+ million. Huijsen was it 20 plus million to Bournemouth. This is another reason why, Inter Oak Tree probably want to invest in more young players. Marotta's strategy, yes, it worked, but we can't sell anyone unless, apart from the top players, same like the last few seasons, there's been Lukaku, Hakimi, Onana, Brozovic. We always can spend after selling the big players, but if you have younger players in that, not necessarily starters, but at least you can make, even if you spend 20 million, but then you can sell for 20 or 30 if they go up, then you can build your mercato of that. So that's the strategy of Marotta. That's why you can see some disagreements with them Oak Tree coming in. It works. Bringing Zielinski, Taremi works, but again, can you sell Zielinski and Taremi? Now you brought Zielinski and Taremi, and no, unless a Saudi team comes in or something. But again, they're not probably going to pay you much for them. So Juve changed their strategy a few years ago where they were going for these younger players and they were able to sell them as well. So it's those decisions you make, Marotta's strategy clearly works. So I do opt for the Marotta strategy, but at the same time, it leaves you in these positions where you can't sell anyone, but then that means you can't really bring anyone unless it's a free agent or really cheap £10 million player. Yeah, that's exactly, Joseph. The last two transfer windows were exciting enough, right? Or we got PTSD enough from especially 2 years ago. So maybe it's time for a boring one. The package path to more followers is into success. Yeah, for sure. The more Inter do well, the more people follow Inter, and hopefully the more people follow this channel. Man, it's been 4 years. I mean, it's 4 years of Uncle Sharma, just Uncle Sharma. But if you were sempre Inter, that was probably, it's been like 5-6 years, because if you remember, me and Anthony were making content on Sempre Inter's YouTube channel back in the day. So I've been doing this, man. When you put it into context, I've been doing this for a while, for a long time. So yeah, you have so many real assets that were Inter bus training, right? Exactly. Buy one get one free offer. Buy Arna, get Correa free. Oh my god, that would be. But even then, big clubs are not interested in Debbie. That would be, I would put it like a big poster outside of Inter's training ground and Inter HQ. Oh, and still no one would buy. Doesn't Juve own 3 stadiums? No, Juve owns 3 stadiums. I don't think so. They've got their own Allianz Stadium, but or maybe where does the next gen team play? The youth team, maybe they have their own little stadium. So probably 2, but not 3, I don't think. Well, yeah, shouts out to you, Palm. Been there since day one, and make sure you check out Calcio Charcha, as always, to remind you guys, if you're interested in some Indian Serie A content from the boys. We talked about that briefly, Victor. Interesting. I do like the idea of owning San Siro. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. 1 hour 23. We've been going a lot longer than I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for just a live, 1 hour live. But yeah, Matteo, if you missed it, go back to it. It was a pretty good first half. So if you're going to go back and watch it, watch the first half. Second half, it was just full of youth players. But yeah, pretty impressive performance by Inter. Tucu, Correa and Marcus Thuram linking up. Crazy that we say that. But see you next week, guys, for Serie A kickoff. Oh yeah, look out for Serie A Fantasy. I'll make a new league. Congrats to Alpha Bravo again for winning it last year. So I'll make a new league. So keep a lookout on my Twitter and the community tab. I'll make the new league for the Serie A Fantasy. So keep a lookout for that. Genoa preview, Serie A preview coming this week. So lots of content coming, guys. Keep a lookout. And obviously, we got to see what Beppe and co are cooking up on the transfer window. Keep you up to date with that. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, still standing. I'll keep standing and see you for the next one. Ciao.